Dick Rochfort here of Piper Meridian in the Downwind at Anniston, Alabama, and we're briefing the landing. So the trick is straight level flight, 130 knots, 500 pounds, which is VA and ice penetration speed. Next thing we're going to do is lower the nose at the proper time. If you extend the downwind, you should wait to lower the nose. You're going to turn a short, close in base, then lower the nose sooner. 3 degrees is the number.
Master traffic, Meridian 106904, turning right base for runway 5. Master traffic.
Autopilot is off. Remember now not to eke down in the pattern. Today the pattern altitude is 2100 MSL. Once we lower the nose, we put down the gear, put down the notch flaps, bring the power to 300. That gives us our coveted 120 knots, Category Bravo aircraft.
We're going down.
We hold that attitude, that speed, working the speed back to cross the numbers at 90 using flaps, not power.
Check altitude.
So try not to cover the power when that's not next. Unless you need it. You don't need it. So next is flaps.
I got one set of flaps.
Right, but next is another. Yep. This looks good.
Anniston traffic, Meridian 10694, turning final for runway 5, full stop, Anniston.
Now then, once we get to the aim point and begin the flare,
Mike is on Alpha, taxiing to runway 5.
we want to have full flaps or whatever flap setting we need for the landing based on winds and whatever. Then we want to squeeze the power back as we run the trim and the flare, holding pressure on the yoke and running the trim. Once the mains are down, both of them, one word and one word only. Center the pedals and lower the nose. Promptly, without rushing.
500.
Center the pedals and lower the nose is the word. It's one word. It means it gets done quickly, promptly, all at once. We don't push the nose down. We allow it to go down. Once the nose is down, bring your toes up on the brakes. Apply brakes and back pressure to keep the weight off the nose and to keep the airplane from wheelbarrowing. Then reach down, get your beta. Once the nose is on the pavement, the beta lockout is off. You really would get beta and reverse. So it's brakes with back pressure, beta and reverse if you need it. We're low. Add power, please. Yep, good. Keep the aim point. And hold 90 or better until you get to the runway. Good. Nicely done. Squeezing off the power now. Come on. Yep. Next is power to idle and begin to run the trim. Put your hand on the yoke. Flight idle. Hand on the yoke. Yep. A little right rudder. Right there, right there. That's it.
Recovery.
Back beta, back pressure, and brakes. All three. All the way back. Yep. So that back pressure gives you, helps to keep the nose, the pressure even with the weight on the nose, even with the weight on the mains. And the weight on the mains gives you authority to use the brakes. So it's all serendipitous. The use of reverse, back pressure, beta in reverse is a bonus for the turbine. So short fields, once you get those techniques down, is a piece of work. To control the aircraft on the runway, your toes are down off the brakes initially. You're pressing hard with both feet to keep down, to dampen the opportunity or the tendency to over control. which with these long wings and partial fuel, you get a fair amount of out of phase oscillation.
So Mike taxiing on to runway 5 for takeoff. Anderson.
And that will calm that down immensely, make the aircraft a lot more controllable on the ground. It's about technique. You want to make sure your maintenance people are taking care of that nose wheel too, making sure it's
traffic Meridian 10694, clear of all runways.
It's tight and in good shape, and there's no looseness in there. There are a couple of ways of knowing whether there's any looseness or not. So during taxi, if you can push back and forth with the rudders and get what I call slap, it's like a 55 Chevy on a crown road. You can get the airplane, you can actually move the rudders and not get the airplane to move. There's too much play in that that steering arm, and that can be corrected. It's a maintenance issue. If, when you're doing your pre-flight, put your foot on the nose wheel tire and try to roll it aft, you'll find it should be, there should be no play there. There should be no thunk. And if there is, get that corrected. That's going to cause you a problem. This is Dick Rochfort. Fly safely. Train often.